Well, here we are. It's season 3, and we are just getting ready for the start of the season. But first, we gotta make sign-ups first. Hey guys, it's me, X here, and this is the third season of the Pennzoil Cup Series, now renamed to the Pennzoil Pro Series. And it's an exciting moment because this will be our third season, and to have a season that goes into its third season, well, I mean, that's pretty special, as the Pennzoil Cup Series, I hope for it to be around for a long time, and I hope I'll make it through, so hope we can make this last, and let's make Season 3 one of the best ones, and, well, let's get right into signups. Anyways, the first thing you should notice is the logo. It's just the traditional Pennzoil Cup Series logo, or it's not. It looks similar to last year's, however, there are some adjustments. I'm going to first focus to the ASCA, those letters up, those 4 letters up on top. That is an acronym. We are now in a specified league, because not only do we have the Pennzoil Cup Series, we have the Copperhead Cup Series. These 2 Cup Series I'll now refer to by Pro and Amateur Series. This is the Pennzoil Pro Series now, as you see defined by the Pro letters underneath Pennzoil. And basically this just distinguishes between the 2 seasons. Now, Pro means advanced and Amateur means beginner, alright? So if you're a rookie and you're looking at this video, maybe you should be directed to the Copperhead Amateur Series. Maybe that would be more suited to you, because the Pennzoil Pro Series, there will be drivers that have been in the series since Season 1, and because this is an interactive series and it's supposed to be realistic towards real life, this series does go off of drivers who do well end up doing well for the rest of the season. And how that is determined is when you signed up. So just getting that out there, I'm going to go into more detail later in this video, but if you're new, I'll try to go over to the Copperhead Amateur Series. However, if there are spots open in the Pennzoil Pro Series, be my guest, go on ahead, try to make it the Pennzoil Cup Series. But I'll go more in depth of things you need to know if you're going to join this series later. However, if you're returning and you've been on the forums, you probably know all this by now. ASCA, Pennzoil Pro Series. I've had it up on the forums for a while. If you want to look at the forums, it's in the description, as well as how to sign up and stuff. But I'm going to go into detail just in words here in this video. And basically, if you want to sign up here, that's fine. It's actually my preferred method, because I don't really want the sign up page to get too cluttered up on the forum. However, if you do want to sign up there, go ahead, but it's easier just to do it here. And if you want to join the forum, that would be a convenience to you, because you can see updates that are happening through the series. It's really not a hard thing to do. You just have to register an account, and we'd really like to see you come. So with that out of the way, let's get into the meat of this sign-up series. I'm going to go through a little bit of a script, I might say, but you can find it. It's actually also on the forums. You can find it in the description as well. And if you get there, it will say, "Welcome to the Pennzoil Pro Series," and the logo. So if you're there, you can follow along or not, or you can just listen to me. But it'd probably be easier if you have that open. Anyways, this page pretty much is just to announce this series, the signups, everything is just to announce who will be in the Pennzoil Pro Series for Season 3. And everything I say here will go. Do not rely on anyone else's point of view. Anyways, here's some general things for the series. This is the Pennzoil Pro Series. If you're new, you may be hearing it being called the Pennzoil Cup Series. Probably will just be a force of habit, since we gotta kind of train ourselves to say it's Pennzoil Pro Series, because before this, Seasons 1 and 2, they were named Pennzoil Cup Series and were distinguished by the season. Well, the Pennzoil Pro Series, we're going to try to distinguish by year, but in the year it will take place 2016, and probably will eventually get into a year that we're not in the future, because not every season takes up to a year. So but we'll live with that a little later, so we're not going to really be calling them by season anymore, just by year. There will be 24 points races, 3 special events, and in total 27 races. It's exactly like it has been in the past 2 seasons. Nothing has changed in that aspect. Anyways, here's what you wanted, the sign up templates, and this is the way you sign up. So in the description, you'll be putting one of these down here. Now, if you look in the description, these will also be on the very bottom of the description below the links. You can either look at them there, or you can follow along on the page, the sign up page. Anyways, these are the templates. And basically, there are 3 kinds of templates: the driver template, the team template, and the paints template. And we're really going to go into the driver and the team template for now. In this series, there is 2 roles you can be. You can be a driver, or you can be a team owner. And by this, the team basically owns a team and manages what goes on. And as a driver, you race for a team and you compete for points and stuff like that. So basically, driver is what you normally sign up, but some series don't have a team template, so you can own your own team if you want as well. And the paints template is basically once you are a driver and you've been put on a team, you can request paint schemes for sponsors and stuff. I'll get more into this later. But before you do that, before you do the paints, I suggest you get a handle on the series and get on a team before you start requesting anything like that. Anyways, if you're gonna become a driver, this is for you. The driver facts. If you're unsure how to be a driver, I'll tell you everything right here. First of all you need to do is pretty much just put your name. If you go back to the template, the driver template, all you need is your name, the country. It doesn't have to be a real one if you don't want to. It can be it's the country you're representing in your series. Just like the name too, it can be fictional if you want. You don't have to use anything confirmed. Just don't make it like too silly. Just make it like reasonable. And if you want, you can also include a background. And the background, basically all that is pretty much all that is what, if you want to give a brief bio that I can use during the races, like where you came up from. Like if you were a dirt racer, I can say that sometimes in the videos. I don't know, it's just something I thought up of, so that could be a thing. So that's basically all you need. And anyways, we'll move on. So once you are signed up, you will be put in a list of drivers that are not confirmed on a team. Now there are 2 ways to go from here. You can either wait for a team to request you to drive for them, and that could vary. I mean, if you're a new driver, it might be some time, because in this series, like I said, rookies are not the best. You have to struggle a little bit to work your way up, and if you're a rookie, you will not be as good as people who have been in the series already. So teams that have been in the series for a while, they know this, so they may want to try to pick older drivers, So you can either just wait, maybe find like a team that way, or you could outwardly request. Now if you request, that is actually a little better, because then it shows that you have dedication to the series, so you may want to do that instead. So once you get on a team, you will then get sponsor requests. And by sponsor requests, I don't mean you get to request your sponsor. This is one cool thing in the series. It may not sound cool at first, but you get assigned sponsors. You don't get to choose them. You get placed as sponsors. And if you're running in this series, you'll absolutely 100% have sponsors all the races. The Copperhead Amateur Series will be different. I'll explain in that video. But pretty much, you'll get sponsor requests. And once you get sponsors, you'll get a paint. You'll be able to make a paint scheme. For every sponsor you have, you can make a paint scheme. And pretty much, other than that, that's pretty much how sponsors work. Currently, they don't have any effect on the way you drive or anything like that. They're just for aesthetical needs. If you're returning as a driver in the Pennzoil Cup Series, Pennzoil Pro Series, see, I'm already saying it, Pennzoil Pro Series, you will most likely you'll probably keep some of your sponsors from the previous season and may get a couple new ones. It's pretty much a 50-50 of what happens to your sponsors. I'll go into more details on the sponsors later, but that's pretty much the basis of it. And once you are in a team, you've signed up, you got paint, sponsors, that's pretty much all you need, and you're ready to race. As I'm kind of going into it really deep, but it's not that hard to work with. But like I said, that's kind of not at all. If you want to learn a little bit more, here's for you. There are some processes behind the scene that that would be beneficial to know. And pretty much what I've been saying, if you're a rookie, you'll not do as good as the people who have been here for a while. Just keep that in mind when you're racing. So you may DNQ a lot, did not qualify if you did not know, but just make sure to keep that in mind. So if you plan on signing up for this series and you're a rookie, just don't be too surprised that you missed a lot of races. However, if you're someone returning, I definitely recommend you listen to this part, because this is something new in Season 3. While it does kind of rely on the drivers when they signed up, for the previous 2 seasons, it didn't matter when the team signed up. And this is a new thing, as teams now will get ratings as well. And once you have a driver and a team, those 2 ratings will be averaged out, and that rating will be how well you do. Now that might have sounded really complicated, but it's not really. So drivers, rookies, you have a rating pretty much, and that's just basically when you signed up. It's a little too complicated to go in the numbers of that. You can just check the driver facts on the page to see a little bit, like a visual, but pretty much. So you have your stat as a driver, and then you also have your stat as a team owner. And the team owner has his own stat, you have your driver stat. Those 2 numbers will be averaged out, and that number will be your how well you do, your stat. So if you are a returning driver and you join a rookie team, you probably won't be doing as best as you could if you were also driving for a returning team. So basically, if you're a returning driver in a returning team, you will do the best. If you're a returning driver or a new team, or a new driver in a returning team, you'll do all right. But if you're a new team and a new driver, you'll do the worst out of the 4. And that's pretty much just how the ratings work. However, while things may seem out of hand, and wow, how am I ever going to move up in the points? I mean, this is terrible. I'm just going to be at the bottom all day. Just think about this. Every year, some drivers leave, and some teams leave. Okay? Well, it's not going to be any different. I already know a couple people in the series that have not commented and sent sign-ups from last season, and they are most likely going to be moved out. So instead of starting at the bottom, you'll actually be placed a little higher in the grid. And let's say you sign up for Season 4 or 2017. That you'll be placed above all the drivers that sign up for Season 4. So if you see, you'll eventually keep climbing the grid until you're one of the pros. And it does take time, I know, and you might not even be around that long, but that's just how the things work, so it's not completely hopeless. But there is another thing you can do if you want to set personal styles. There's also track ratings you can do. So if you want to specialize on a short track or a super speedway, you can just tell me and I'll move your ratings up for those tracks. However, you have to subtract from another style. So if you want to, I'm going off of the page right now. If you're at a speedway and you want that to be your specialized track, then I'll bump it up how many points you want. However, how many points you bump up, you have to take away from other ones. So let's say you're not very good at short tracks, you'll choose that one to take away. And pretty much what happened is you basically transferred the points from the short track to the super speedway. More information, go on the page, you can see a visual right there. That's pretty much all I got for driver facts though. And now we're going to move on to the teams. And if you're a driver, you might want to listen to this too, because it may affect you as well. You never know. But anyways, team owners, this is probably new for you. You may not have been in a series that allowed you to be a team owner, and it's not that different. Kinda is. I mean, it's very different, actually. I'm not going to really lie. But pretty much, you don't drive. You are not out on that track. However, you have cars out on that track. You are not physically out there racing for a championship, but your drivers are. It's pretty much how a regular team works. After you sign up, you may notice that the team sign-up template is a lot harder, a lot more complex. You got owner name, team name, manufacturer, numbers, and fonts. All that stuff is pretty much all things of the team. Owner name, just your name. Team name, what do you want your team name to be? Again, don't make it too silly. Manufacturer, there are currently 5 in the series: Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Dodge. In the work in progress, Mustang currently is still not an official manufacturer, but you can choose the Mustang Ford model if you want. Numbers, you're allowed to reserve numbers for your team. So if you have a specific number that you want, you can make sure to reserve it so that other teams can't take it. However, keep in mind, if you're a new team, their numbers are probably already going to be taken. So make sure to, you're going to have to just pick what's left. And there are a ton of numbers still left. We don't have that many teams in the series, so don't have to worry about it that much. However, there is a new thing in the series. For teams, let's say you have one driver currently right now. If you want to reserve numbers, you can actually reserve 2 numbers. And the way this is you get to reserve 1 number past the amount of teams you have. Say if you have 3 teams, you can have 4 numbers reserved. I'm kind of really going way too complicated, and it just asks if you need some help on that, but that's just pretty much what that means. And then the fonts is, if you want a specific number style for your team, you can just tell me. So that's basically how you sign up. And once you sign up, you got the same exact process as the drivers. You can either outwardly request drivers to join your team, or you can wait for drivers to ask to join you. And pretty much it's just a back and forth after that. And as a team owner, you keep in mind, you have all the authority over the drivers you sign up. You can choose which drivers you accept, which ones you don't, so pretty much you're in complete control. And how you sign up is, once a driver signs up, they're pretty much locked in a contract. Now you can also, main contracts are just for 1 season. However, if you want to, and the driver wants to, you can sign a contract for multiple years. Once one of these is signed for multiple years, only the team owner can break it. So only you can break it. And drivers, you can't. You pretty much just gotta wait until it's up. You can request, and I'm pretty sure they will let you go. But you never know if you'll get that team owner that says, no, you're finishing up your contract. So just make sure you're pretty determined to continue with that team for as long as you want that contract to go. Other than that, once you get a firm team, do the sign-up templates. Your drivers pretty much take care of all the work on the cars and stuff. But once you get all that confirmed, you can go to work and race. So, pretty much returning teams, that is nothing that there is pretty much new. So, that's nothing new anyway. However, there is the new topic of that there are the team ratings now as well. And that it is an average between the driver and the team. So teams, and drivers, you gotta make sure you know who you're signing up with. If they've been around for a while, that's probably a good team. If they're new, might not be so well. So gonna have to be wary when you think of that. Let me see here. I'm just skimming right now. So pretty much that's kind of all I have for teams right now. Everything else is just what I went over with in the driver's section. Like I said, I'm always open to questions. I try to respond to my commenters as much as I can, and I'm usually on at least once every 24 hours to check comments. So just feel free to ask if you have any more questions about the teams. Anyways, let's move over to the sponsors. I already talked about how sponsors work, like you need sponsors to get paint schemes. However, sponsors really don't do anything. They're just aesthetics. But sponsors kind of show class, like where you've been, like how like well you are doing in the series. So if you have like a really high power sponsor, you can pretty much show off that you're one of the best in the series. It has almost a direct connection with how well you do in the series as well. But in the long run, it actually has no effect on how well you do. So don't like overreact or anything if you don't have a good sponsor. And you do not assign yourself sponsors. I cannot stress that enough. I don't know how many times I had people trying to assign themselves sponsors after I said it. And just make sure not to ask for sponsors, please. They are requested to you. And it's not like you can't request sponsors. I mean, you can tell me, you can say what kind of sponsors you want, and it's not like I'm completely like gonna say no. It's random. Some of the sponsors you get will be, but I am open to giving you some sponsors you like. So please ask if you do want a specific sponsor, but it's not 100% you'll get that sponsor. And when you're requesting sponsors, make sure to keep it realistic. If you request like Forever 21 or a beauty company, they are not going to sponsor a NASCAR car. Just putting that out there. So just think about what you're trying to sponsor. If it's like the NFL, I don't think they're going to sponsor NASCAR. I mean, who knows? Maybe they would. But probably not. So just keep that in mind when you're requesting a sponsor. The schedule, if you go on the page right now, you can see it is not completed yet. It is in a work in progress mode right now. And you can check back on the page. I'm not going to talk about it in the video, but on the page you can look at the schedule all you want and see what's been confirmed so far. However, some of the races are the same from last year if you want to go back and look at that. But this year, I'm actually trying to make it more geologically, organized. Like, I really didn't have a pattern when I was making the schedule in seasons 1 and 2. So this year I decided to make it a little better. Like, some people were wondering why California's moved to race 22 now. Las Vegas is down there, and Finninon's now down there from race 15. Well, that's only because in races 20 to 23, that is going to be the westward swing until we get to Armory Digital, where currently there's no location for that. It's just a fictional track. But obviously, we'll probably think of something soon. And the series obviously starts out in Daytona, goes to Atlanta, Charlotte, Martinsville, goes up the east coast of the United States, and kind of takes a dip down, almost an arc, down to Talladega again at race 8, and that's pretty much all we have. All we know, though, is that race 16 is going to be Richmond again. No All-Star race confirmed yet. All that, like we said, the schedule can be modified in later days, and we only have 4 race names so far, so just keep on the lookout for changes there. And the point system. Here's something that people really need to know. A lot of people ask, what's the point system? Here it is. So this is the point system for Season 3. Points are very similar to Season 2. Pretty much exactly the same. However, there is another bonus points. If you get the most laps led, you'll get 5 bonus points. And the only other bonus point option there was in Seasons 1 and 2 was getting a pole. And that's for 3 points, and that will be returning. So the points go as follows from 1st down to 42nd. That's how many drivers can race in a race. You go 55, 52, 50, 48, 46, 44, 42, 40, 38, 36, 34, 32, 30. And down from 30, it goes down by 1. So you can calculate that yourself. Or you can just look at the graphic on the site. Just put that up. Don't make it hard on you. Next, chase system, and the points are exactly the same here. However, here's how the chase will work. It is not like NASCAR where there is 4 every 4 rounds or whatever it is. This has its own unique system, and it is a little complicated at first sight, but it really helps make good selections. First of all, the points don't reset after any races. It's kind of like the old chase system where you just had one race through. However, there are eliminations. It's kind of a combination. So after race 0.5, or the All-Star race, where we confirm our 20 people that are going to be in the series, 20 people remain. And there's 20 people per chase. However, after the first race, 1 person is eliminated, leaving 19. After the second race, 4 people are eliminated, leaving 15. After the third race, 3 people are eliminated, leaving 12 people. After that, 9. After that, 7. After that, 5. And after that, 4. And 4 people will be going into the final race to fight for the chase. And then 1 will be crowned champion. That's pretty much how the chase works in the series. Pretty explanatory. If you have any questions, just ask me. But there are a little bit... if you're just joining, there are ways that the chase is determined. The 19 drivers at the top of the board by race 16 are confirmed into the chase. However, the 20th driver is confirmed at the All-Star race. In this All-Star race, basically it's a 2 heat rounds and then the All-Star event. And this basically confirms the last person to get in the chase. So, and to get in the All-Star event automatically, you have to have a win. And the 2 heat rounds are just to add 2 more people to the pile of people who have wins. And pretty much other than that, the winner of the All-Star event will get that last spot in the chase. Pretty much the winner you're in equivalent in this series, even though it's a lot less likely you'll get it. Special events. This is the last section. There are 3 special events in Season 3, similar to Season 2, and all of them are the same. There's the All-Star Race, the Maybe Duels, and the Bud Shootout. And all of these are non-points races, and it only affects later events. The All-Star event we just discussed. If you want to go back and listen to me say it all over again, go ahead. But the Bud Shootout is the opener of the season, and to be honest, this has no effect whatsoever. It's just the opener of the season saying, hey, Season 3 is here, let's get started. And it's just basically a hype builder for the Daytona 500. However, right before that, we also have the Maybe Duels, and this is the Gatorade Duels in real life, or whatever they're called now. The Sprint Duels? I don't know, but these duels have 2 heats, and they consist of 25 drivers, and 4 drivers in each heat will be sent home, leaving 42 drivers to race it out at Daytona. And the 42 drivers that go on from the duels, where they finish does not affect where they start in the Daytona 500. There will still be different qualifying. And any questions that, just please ask me. But that's pretty much it, guys. Wow, we're done with the sign-ups at 26 minutes. Pretty much the same last year. So if you've stayed through it all, I guess thank you. I don't know who would. You probably skipped through a lot of it, so it's okay. I don't blame you. It's a pretty boring video, but if you have any more questions, just ask me. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you all in Season 3.